Arkansas picks up a much needed victory at home, 89-80 over Louisville, handing Louisville their first loss of the season. A matchup that was, kind of touted as two of the best freshman point guards in the country. Really delivered, in my opinion. A-Cup getting, maybe the better of Michael Brown in this game. We can have discussion on what it is. I personally think that he did. I'm a Michael Brown guy, and I got to give props to Darius A-Cup. I kind of talked about it in the preview. He's the type of guy who has the mental makeup that he knows that people think Michael Brown is better than him. And I thought he outperformed him in this game. Michael Brown tried to do what he could do to make enough shots to keep them in this game. But at the end of the day, Arkansas pulls out the victory 89-80 in a game they led by 18 at half. Credit to Louisville. They made it semi-interesting in the second half, but Arkansas pulls off the victory. J-Man, I'll throw it over to you. And also, I want it on record. I said Arkansas was going to win. You said Louisville was going to win. So we're keeping track throughout the year. We both said Duke was going to win the Florida game. So I'm currently one up on you. We are going to keep this tally throughout the rest of the season.
That's fair, that's valid. And I did say like it aged well for me that I said Darius Acuff is probably the best point
Mhm.
guard Duke's going to play. Not no slight on Mikael Brown, but Darius Acuff looked like the better guard in this matchup. I know he was the home team, but him having a double double and not really being that efficient from the field, still got 17 points. And I know Mikael Brown obviously struggled shooting as well, but that's Arkansas's defense. They kind of get left like an afterthought maybe when you think of Arkansas. You think of Malik Thomas and you think of Darius Acuff and just guys to go get a bucket, but like they guarded the hell out of Duke, especially early on in the game. I know Cam Boozer had the 35, but the first 10 minutes of the game he was non-existent because of what Arkansas did. And Arkansas had a great first half game plan against Louisville, up 47-29, and made it tough throughout the game for Louisville's guys to get going. And just Acuff and Malik Thomas were tough with 17 apiece. And shout out to Trevin Brazile. I mean, he scored 21, and I think 17 of those were in the first half. So he really carried the weight in the first half, and he's an X factor for them.
Yeah, he's such like a boomer bust guy because like you look at him and it's like, oh, like if an NBA team could make like a modern day four man, they would do like this guy who's 6'11", crazy bounce, can shoot the basketball, has some defensive versatility. I just think he's a little bit hot and cold, but he approached this game mentally in a way that I think honestly won Arkansas the basketball game because you look back to what they did in their losses and even looking back to Michigan State, they were just they got physically dominated in that basketball game against Duke. Duke physically like put their dominance forth on them, and I believe they're out rebounded in both those games. They win the rebounding battle in this one. They shoot 35 free throws in this game, to which I thought were all earned because they really just had an emphasis on being physical in this basketball game, going to the hoop, putting the pressure on Louisville. They only attempt 18 threes in this game. Louisville attempted 37 threes. Like that's not to say, I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to get a lot of threes up, but they went 8 for 37 for three. I mean, look, Arkansas shot 18 as a team. Michael Brown shot 13 threes by himself. Him and Ryan Conwell shot what, 25 threes just between the two. They outshot the number of three-point attempts from Arkansas more than Arkansas had as a whole team. So this was a game where, I think Louisville approached this as I'm going to try to like bomb threes and try to, outshoot this team. And I think that the physicality of Arkansas and the way they approach this game on the glass and just from a standpoint of putting pressure on the rim, I think really gave them an advantage early on in this one.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the threes because 37 threes is insane. And they hit McNeely hit his only three of the game with 2:40 to go. I have it in my notes that it cut the lead to five, and then Acuff goes right down the floor, throws a lob to Brazil. They put it to seven. In the last 2 minutes of the game, Louisville just chucked up threes like they're down 20, and they needed it all back in 30 seconds. I'm like, dude, settle for a good shot, and they're chucking. They probably chucked six of those 37 threes in the last 2 minutes that were just low percentage shots, like just pure panic. And I felt like that they had more time than I guess they thought mentally. I don't know if Pat Kelsey was telling them to go get a quick bucket, but I mean, they were pulling like Isaiah Evans transition threes with 27 seconds left on the shot clock in a three possession game. And I just felt like that was unnecessary. And Louisville kind of pressed themselves down seven with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing to see Louisville in that spot. Now, maybe you chalk it up to this their first true road game. Bud Walton was rocking. Arkansas needed this basketball game, and they played like they needed this basketball game. But like Louisville's good offensively because of how they can score and how they can move the basketball. The one thing that scares me about this team is when they start doing this. This game was a lot of you go, I go, Chucky, Chucky, left, right, like unassisted. Let's see, I can make shots. And when it's hitting, it's one of the funnest things to watch. It's probably one of the hardest things to stop in college basketball. But when it isn't hitting, it's something that I think can really, really affect the team. And you go against an Arkansas team that's physically imposing themselves. It's really, really hard to go against. I do want to speak on Acuff a little bit in this one because the shooting maybe was a little bit off at 6 for 18, still has 17 points, but what he was able to do with his passing has been impressive. I feel like that's been an overlooked part of his game all year. He kind of got labeled as like this, tough shot maker, chucker type in high school. And, throughout, his early on his college career, I feel like he's really, really showed some passing acumen.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's done a really good job of being a floor general because, like you said, with the ball in his hands, I'm like, he's a hooper. He's gonna go to the cup. He's a three-level scorer. He can pull up from three. He can pull up mid-range. He can get to the cup and finish. And you add what he can do with the ball in his hands to be a facilitator, and it helps him a lot to have a guy like Malik Thomas, 7'17", who, look, he came in to Arkansas the scoring guy, and he's been that. He been efficient? Sometimes, sometimes not. But 4 of 10 in this game, not bad. Malik Thomas going 8 of 9 from the free throw line as well. Like Acuff has the right pieces around him, and one guy in particular that I thought has had a good game for Arkansas, a place that they needed an identity was Malik Ewan in
Mhm.
the front court because that was kind of the eyesore for Arkansas against Duke. That not only about the Cam Boots are trying to slow him down, but had no offensive production from Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle in the front court. Next game, Nick Pringle plays 18 minutes, has 12 and 9, and all that came in basically 14 minutes of game action, and 7 of those rebounds were offensive. So like he he came Arkansas came away with something along with Acuff being Darius Acuff from Brazil stepping up. They might have found something with Malik Ewan being a front court guy for them.
Yeah, and if you can get this version of Arkansas, I think it's the one that people think could be dangerous in March, right? Like you get good guard play out of Acuff, you get good guard play out of Malik Thomas, you get something from the front court. You got a great game from Trevon Brazil, like you pointed out. Ewan also had a good performance. Billy Richmond is just like the ultimate do everything, like glue guy, just like electric, makes plays. This is the version of Arkansas that I think people want to buy into. Also, shout out to Coach Cal, man. Like for all the people say about him, I thought he did some great things adjustment wise and play wise that really got some guys in some good spots. And I think he was able to get his team across the finish line when they needed to get there. Switching to Louisville just for a second here to kind of bring things full circle. Does this give you any long-term concerns about Louisville? I mean, I know I said that Arkansas needed this basketball game and they went out and got it, but is there anything about Louisville and how they played in this one that maybe gives you some concern long term?
I didn't love that they fell in love with the three, like you talked about with Mikel Brown and Conwell going 5 of 25 from three. I hope that's just an outlier of them kind of pressing on their true road game, as especially Mikel Brown being a freshman. Um, the one thing that might concern me is just because Virginia was playing also, and Virginia looked really good against Texas, to where now I'm like, okay, Virginia has a legit chance to be like the upper echelon of the ACC as well, to go with Duke, Louisville, you can say UNC and Virginia. Like those are the top four teams. But I think now, like Virginia and Louisville are in a conversation to me that I'm like, okay, like I wouldn't be surprised, like in the ACC, Virginia might make some more noise than Louisville because I need to see other pieces from Louisville to step up. Like when Mikel Brown has 7 of 19, and then Conwell, who has been great this year, but he struggled from the field, who can be that third guy? I said in our preview that I relied on Isaac McNeely to be the guy, to be the veteran guy on a true road game to pick up Louisville when they're struggling. And he was 3 of 8, 1 of 5 from three, 11 points, but not really. Outside that three to cut it to five late, he just didn't give as much as I thought he was going to. And so if I'm Louisville, I'd like to see Isaac McNeely to have 15 plus in a big time matchup when they have another game like an opponent like Arkansas.
Yeah, I think like long term, Louisville is gonna play a certain style, and you know, even without getting mad at the 3-point attempts, because that's really what they want to do. It's just I get concerned when this team is all right. Michael Brown, Ryan Conwell take turns and let's see what happens. Because I mean, these two guys alone, Conwell has 16 shots, Michael Brown has 19 shots. 12 of those are three for Conwell, 13 are threes for Michael Brown, and both those guys were extremely inefficient from the field. Even Michael Brown was 6 of 10 from the free throw line, which is unlike him as well. So it's like if those two guys get to go on your turn, my turn, Combo fouls out in this basketball game in 33 minutes. He has five turnovers. Michael Brown is. It's just those two guys taking turns basically determined where this game was going to go. And in the first half, they couldn't get anything going. They find themselves down 20. They try to get it going in the second half, still can't fully get it going. I think it gets them to the point where everyone is watching them go my turn, your turn, my turn. And that's honestly where I'm looking at Pat Kelsey and I'm like, what is the adjustment here? Where is the reining these guys? Where is the medium ground between letting my guys rock and letting my, kind of reining them in to a certain point, maybe trying to get some other guys involved, maybe trying to slow things down a little bit. It's the one thing that makes it so intriguing about Louisville is that they can just light up the scoreboard. But also you and I could probably think back on some teams that played like Louisville when things and they'll lose in the first round of the tournament because their things don't necessarily work. But still early season. I'm not gonna, losing at Bud Walton Arena against a good Arkansas team, first true road game for guys like Michael Brown. I think they just need to learn from it. Interested to see how they bounce back. But I think for you and I personally, don't want to throw this out there. We love to see Arkansas win. Good for the resumes. I didn't want to say it. I could. Hey, Kentucky's out there losing basketball games right now. I need someone to get some wins. North Carolina got to win. Arkansas got to win. I'm good for it boosting our resumes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me. Well, I saw that win. I'm like, okay, that makes Duke's win look even better on Thanksgiving. And then I thought Kansas might sneak up on UConn, though they haven't. They still look good, a lot better than they did against Carolina. So that's still a quality win. And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. And the last thing with Louisville too, that kind of concerned me is just the rebounding aspect that Arkansas was able to get 18 offensive rebounds and made one less field goal than Louisville did all game. They made 28 field goals to Louisville's 29, but had 18 offensive rebounds. And that's something that Louisville's got to clean up before they get the ACC play because the ACC is obviously a lot deeper than last year. And the one pro thing I'll say for Louisville losing to Arkansas, Duke did that, what, 2 years ago? And that team went to the Elite Eight. So, if that means you go to Elite Eight, I think you kind of take that.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think good win for Arkansas. We'll see what Louisville does. I think they play Indiana this weekend, so that'll be a good one. We'll have a preview of that up on the channel. But good win by Arkansas, 89-80 over Louisville. Make sure y'all tune in to Sleepers Media all year long for all your previews and recaps of all the big games across college basketball.